Something very big is happening. Something top secret.
Why did I downsize? So that I could be here, right now. I finally have a chance to do something that matters.
You think downsizing? Do you think you could do this? Do you actually think you can be shrunk down to 4 to 5 inches small? I don't know, that's asking a lot. What do I think about this movie? Well, let's find out. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to my opinion/review for Downsizing. I really do appreciate it, but before we get into the review, help your boy out by clicking that subscribe button. Also, click the little bell so you can be notified when I make uploads, and also give me that thumbs up. Let's see if we can get this video to 100 likes. Now, we have Downsizing, which is a crazy concept. I remember seeing this trailer 5 or 6 months ago and just kind of laughing to myself like, wow, I've never seen anything like that before. You know, this looks pretty exciting. It looks pretty intriguing. I can't wait to see what it's all about, you know. Even though I was going into this thinking, okay, this is completely unrealistic and can possibly never happen, you know, at the same time, I don't like to say that things are impossible because everything that we have today 1,000 years ago was impossible. But anyway, we have Downsizing. Now, this movie is being directed by a gentleman by the name of Alexander Payne. He directed the movie Nebraska, which came out in 2013, which was nominated for an Oscar. I love that film. I was very into it. It surprised me. You know, so he is behind this film. And this stars, of course, Matt Damon. You also have Christoph Waltz and Kristen Wiig in this movie. They are, you know, Jason Sudeikis as well. Kristen Wiig and Matt Damon are by the name of Audrey and Paul Safranik. They are the couple in this movie, and I'll talk about the other characters in just a second. And if you didn't know already, if it wasn't obvious enough, what this movie is about is that there is a scientific breakthrough where there are some scientists, some researchers in the country of Norway that find out how to shrink organic matter all the way down to 4 to 5 inches tall. Now, why would they want to do that? Well, if you're at your ends meet and you're not able to take care of yourself financially, or you just want a happier life, you know, and live in the life of the luxury, you know, if you have $50,000, that can possibly be turned into $12 million or $100 million and things like that. And also, it's just to save the planet, because the planet, they say in the film, is getting overpopulated, and by this X amount of date, there's going to be so many humans compared to now, and you know, we're, you know, burning up the atmosphere, and green gases are popping out everywhere in Antarctica because of human activity. So if we're much smaller than what we are now, you know, we can, you know, the earth can sustain itself, and you know, we are not going extinct. So those are the two driving forces in the movie, you know, before we all get started. Now, I will say that this movie is right at 2 hours. Let me give you this. It says 2 hours and 15. Yeah, no, it was 2. Yeah, this is 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I can say that this movie is, you can just split it right down the half into sections. You can split it into 2. The first half of the movie is just setting up the story, setting up the plot, and setting up the scientific breakthrough. And that is all I loved. I love the first hour. You know, you get all the science and all that. You get the objective. You get to see how they're presenting all this new information and the technology to the world. You know, this is why I wanted to come to the theater, because, you know, to see this movie, because the concept just kind of, like I said, it seems unrealistic, but it's still kind of fun. Just kind of escape or whatever, and just kind of see what they got together here. It was very fun to see them spread the news, and very great to see the commentary on the news, kind of how we view it today, and how different pundits on TV are talking about it, how it's good. And for the most part, everybody was on board with it, thinking that it was a pretty good idea. Then you got to meet the characters that we know, like Matt Damon and Kristen Wiig, and how they're reacting to it, and how, oh my gosh, that's Paul, or that's Bob from work, or from a few years ago. I had no idea that he wanted to get downsized, or he wanted to go small, and you know, they're toting him around, and they're, you know, going home with the people, and you know, carrying them home so they can interview him and things like that, and just like, why did you do it, and you know, how does it feel, is life a lot better? And all this part is really fun in the movie. You know, this is where Jason Sudeikis comes in, and you know, I'm really loving doing all this. And then we get the transition from everything from big to small, and we get to, you know, Matt Damon finally goes under or whatever, and he's small or whatever, and then his wife abandons him at the last minute, and he's small, and, you know, she's big, and, you know, that's a part of the movie. I don't want to spoil and what happens there, but that transition right there between everything is just, you know, it's great. I'm loving it all. I mean, they're talking about how it would take a 200 to 300 year transition to get the whole world small and things like that. They're answering all the questions that you want to know. You're curious, but they're providing all the solutions. You know, I'm enjoying this first hour of the film. It's just great. It's fantastic. And then Matt Damon finally goes small or whatever, and we initially get to see how life is for him on the other side as he's small. And for the most part, you know, I enjoy all of that. I mean, he took it in with stride. He took it like a soldier, and he was just, you know, doing his thing. And well, I'll go ahead and say this as well, because this is in the trailer. Kristen Wiig, like I said, she betrayed him and didn't go through with it. So their relationship kind of ended. You can't be a regular human being at 5'5" and then still married to somebody that, you know, is only 4 to 5 inches tall. I don't think that would work in the bedroom at all. So, you know, that relationship didn't last for too long. But where the film completely fell apart for me was the second hour of the film. And it just kind of got boring. It got extremely uninteresting. You know, while you're thinking that they answered all the questions, they tried to talk about how they would shrink down like animals and bugs and insects and birds and things like that. And they addressed that a little bit, but it didn't make sense to me. I mean, like, even if the whole world were to get small, I mean, you know, you would have animals and birds and insects, you know, running amok, eating people up. And they, you know, it just wasn't sound to me or whatever. I mean, they could have had something in place that, you know, giving us a little dialogue here and there. But they didn't follow through with that, in my opinion, and that was just a little bit disappointing. But just where they took the story into the plot, to where Matt Damon kind of became friends with a cleaning lady in this movie, and the reason why I even listed her profession, her occupation, because it's really a driving point for the rest of the plot. I was not interested in that at all. I did not want to see it. They spent extremely too much time there. And I'm just okay, like, I don't want to see this. I want to see the repercussions of Matt Damon's decision based on everything else that was going on in the real world. And we didn't get to see that. And I'm also disappointed because there was a lot, well, I don't want to say a lot, but there was some scenes in the trailers that was not in the movie. And I know that happens often these days, but it's still something that turns me off because I'm actually looking forward to it. And there was one scene in the trailer where he was saying, like, wow, when you're big at first and then you go small, everything is fine and you forget that you're small, but then something happens and it reminds you that you're big. I cannot remember that scene in the movie, or also the imagery in the trailer that made that point hit home so hard or whatever. And that is actually what I went to the theater to see, but I didn't get to see it. I got to see this other little story over here that didn't have to do with nothing, that were just so uninteresting. And then they go to Norway, and then they're, you know, getting it on with, not getting it on sexually, but, you know, getting to know these Norwegians over here, or these Swedens. I can't remember if it was Sweden or Norway. But it was just like so dull and boring, and I just didn't want to see it. And I'm just kind of sitting there just like, okay, when are we going to get back to the big world? Where are the people where are Matt Damon's friends before he went small? Like, why aren't they coming to talk to him and meet him to see how things are? And then we just never got that. And we got this other little side story that turned into the rest of the film that was just completely unnecessary to me and boring, and just was turned into a film that I didn't anticipate. I didn't go to the theater to see it. So, you know, I was just highly disappointed, you know, by that. So I really did enjoy the first half of the movie, but the second half or whatever just kind of fell off a cliff for me, and which was very disappointing. If I had to rate Downsizing out of a 1 out of 10, I would give it a 5.5 out of 10. Yes, a 5.5 out of 10. But guys, that's just my opinion. Have you seen Downsizing, or do you want to see it? Have I turned you on? Have I turned you off? Do you agree with me, or do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. If you like this video, go ahead and give me the thumbs up, and if you don't, that's fine. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, go to my website, check me out there, and look me up on social media. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all that good stuff is right there at the bottom of your screen, and I made it very easy by providing a link to all that good stuff down in the description box below. But guys, I just want to thank you again for tuning in to my opinion/review for Downsizing, directed by Alexander Payne. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.